real, raw, and uncut. I'm TyTeaV Nelson, and welcome back, y'all. It's TyTeaV. So first, I want to say hello to all of my new viewers. If this is your first time checking out my show, welcome, and I hope you enjoy it. I hope it's beneficial for you. I want to just kind of let you know how this works. You can catch my show each and every Tuesday, okay? I am booked and busy, so I will post at any time on Tuesday. So make sure that you like and subscribe. If you subscribe, every time I post a new episode, you will immediately get a notification saying that I've just uploaded a new episode, okay? And basically this show is about, my life story. I basically share just like personal life stories, things that I have struggled with. I talk about painful things and basically just show y'all the positive things that I've gained through those hardships, okay? Y'all gotta excuse me. I'm in Nashville, Tennessee, and it's cold as heck here. I'm a Floridian, so every year I'm getting sick and my allergies are all screwed up, so y'all just like bear with me, okay? And today I am drinking out of my touchdown cup. Anybody who knows me knows that I'm a huge football fan. I'm just kidding. But I mean, I'm into sports. I used to work at Hooters, so but it's a joke. But anyway, I'm drinking out of this touchdown cup. If anybody wants to get me like a gift or anything, anybody wants to ever get me a gift, I love like cute little cups. They say like cute little things, so that's a great gift to give me. So y'all just like bear with me, okay? Because I'm sick. So anyway. So also y'all please make sure that y'all are liking and subscribing and sharing. That's how I make my coins, my moolah, my do-re-mi, okay? So make sure that, you're taking care of your girl, okay? And if anything that I'm talking about ever like resonates, y'all make sure that you share, and even if it doesn't resonate with you, say this is not, you've never experienced what I'm talking about, share it with someone else because somebody out there may need this message, okay? It could be what they're going through, not what you're going through, but what somebody else is going through, okay? So make sure y'all like share, spread the word, of my new show, TyTeaV, okay? Mama needs all the love, okay? So if you watched my last episode, you know that I just got back from Miami. My trip was awesome. I had a blast. So yeah, just in case anybody was wondering how my trip went, so hopefully I got like a little bit of a tan. I didn't like stay out at the beach as long as I would have wanted to, but I did go to the beach and stuff and partied, and my friend had like this dope Halloween party that was lit. So I had a blast, okay? All right, so today's show, the title of today's show is Domestic Violence, okay? And it's just funny because, through this show, I'm having to talk about things that, that I didn't really talk about very much. I've gone to like therapy and stuff like that. So I've briefly, talked about this, but I've never really talked about it. So I don't know. And I feel like I was always in a situation in my life where my whole life was very like survival mode, so I've always had to like move forward. Things have happened to me and I just had to move forward, keep moving, never really stopping to, deal with those things. I feel like I've even blocked a lot of things out, you know what I mean? So, I'll try to like talk about as much as I possibly can about it or whatever, but I feel like I have like blocked a lot of things out, So domestic violence, okay? So if you've been watching my show, y'all know my first love, right? We're gonna give him a name, okay? Let's call him Chris Brown. Okay, we gonna call him Chris Brown. All right, y'all, I was in love with Chris Brown, okay? I met him when I was 15. I met him in this program called The Bridge, and I guess we had things in common because I was going through a lot of stuff in my household, and so was he, going through like a lot of stuff in his household or whatever. And I guess we kind of bonded off that, you know what I mean? And yeah, I like, I love that person. Anybody who knew me and Chris Brown, they knew that, girl, I loved him. Like, nobody can tell me that I was not gonna spend the rest of my life with this person, okay? And he was like a football player and stuff. I just knew he was gonna go to the league. He was like a great football player, which he didn't end up going to the league or whatever. And I always knew, you know, I wanted to do stuff in the TV industry and stuff. So I thought I had met my Jay and Beyonce, but it turned out that we were more like Rihanna and Chris Brown. Okay. So anyway, I want to say, I mean, I dated him for off and on for like years, you know. I want to say maybe like 7 years. I want to say maybe like 7 years, if not longer, just like off and on though. And I guess let me start off like this, right? I remember being in middle school and having a best friend, right? And she was like very popular and stuff, and I, you know, eventually, you know, I was in that, you know, popular, you know, little circle or whatever. And I remember her telling me about, you know, her first boyfriend and stuff, and she would tell me everything they had got, you know, everything they had going on, you know. They would fight a lot. Dude was abusive towards her. Yeah, they used to have like crazy stories, right? And I remember like me being a virgin, you know, in middle school, and not, you know, I think I had just met Chris Brown around that time or whatever. And I remember her telling me, you know, all kinds of stories, you know, and I don't know, where I'm from, you know, it made it seem like that was normal. It made it seem like, you know, that's what couples did. They fought, and but that didn't mean that they didn't like love each other or nothing like that. You know, just because he might hit me don't mean that, you know, he didn't love me. You know what I mean? And you know, that's why it's just important to make sure we're talking to our children. You know what I mean? I had no man in my life who was telling me like, you know, make sure a man never puts his hands on you, or a man showing me like real love, you know, period. I didn't have like a good example as far as like parents being loving towards each other or anything like that. You know what I mean? So anyway, I'm like listening to my girlfriends talk about their relationships and they're fighting and all that kind of stuff, and but they loved each other. You know what I mean? So it seemed like it was normal. So I can remember like me being in high school. Me and Chris Brown ended up like going to the same high school, right? And he got transferred to my school. And I remember one time, I don't know what happened, but I remember us like being outside of the school, like across from the school, and he's like pushing me, like pushing me, pushing me up the street, pushing me. I don't know what I did, you know what I mean? Which that doesn't matter, but it just started with little things like that, you know what I mean? That led to like bigger things. So I can remember, you know, him cheating on me. Like he used to mess with some other girl. And I remember one day going to his mom's house, and the girl was at his house. Me and this girl get into like a fight, everything. And me and this girl get into like a physical fight, not just like words, like physical, okay? Inside his mama's house. After me and this girl have a fight, you know, I didn't have a car, so he ends up like taking me home, and we're fighting in the car, you know, we're fighting, you know, he's punching me, he's hitting me. I can remember another time, like, you know, he was messing with someone else, and I was trying to move on. I was talking to this guy named Stanley. You know, I'll say his name. Like, Stanley was always like sweet and nice to me. He took me to prom. He was always, you know, kind of gentleman, you know. And I remember like being in the car with Stanley one day when I was in high school, and Chris Brown like following us in a car. We get to a red light. Chris Brown gets out of his car and pulls me out of the car. And we're fighting. This is in the middle of traffic. So there ends up being like a Amber Alert. Like it becomes a big thing because people see this man like get out of a car and pull me out of the car. and puts me in the car with him. My purse, everything is in the car still with Stanley. When Stanley drives off, I found out like later that the police had stopped Stanley and they got all of my stuff, my purse, everything. It was like a big deal. Me and my mom had to go like down to the police station or whatever, and they were questioning me. There were actual helicopters over dude's house, and they're saying over the mic, like, or whatever that thing is, the walkie-talkie, like, come out. You know, it ended up being like a real big thing. And he did end up going to jail. This is happening and we are just teenagers. My freshman year of college, I went to Bethune-Cookman in Daytona Beach, Florida, right? So I go home for like Christmas break, and I was staying with my cousin Tiffany, my favorite cousin in the whole wide world. Shout out to my favorite cousin in the whole wide world. I love you, cuz. So anyway, I remember like staying with her, and I remember me and Chris Brown getting into a fight, right? And I think it was about money. Like, I don't know if my brother had gave me some money or something, and he's like kind of trying to like manage and control my money, you know what I mean? And we were like fighting in the dark, you know, so he didn't, you know, of course we were in the dark, so he didn't intentionally like, you know, aim for my eye, but dude ended up like punching me in my eye, and I had a black eye. And I remember like once he noticed that he had hit me, I guess we like turned on the lights and stuff. And he's like, let me see, you know, I'm sorry. And I remember him like holding me, and I'm just like crying. And he's like holding me. That's just like, it's dysfunctional. It's just dysfunctional. So I'm at my family's house. So of course, like, I wanted to get from over there, because if my brother would have found out I do like, you know, punched me in my eye, or family would have found out that like I'm walking around with a black eye, that would have caused like a lot of confusion and craziness. So I remember like going to his mom's house, like I was close to his family, and I remember like, y'all gotta excuse me. So I remember like going to his mom's house, and soon as I walk in the door, it was at nighttime and I had shades on. Literally, as soon as I walk in the door, she like said something, like called me out. But I think she was kind of joking. Like, she didn't think that I really had a black eye. You know what I mean? And she like called me out, and I just immediately started crying, because it was just like, she called me out, like just called me out. Like, he had gave me a black eye, and I was like hiding it. And I remember another day where I guess we like talked about it, like whatever, me and his mom or whatever. And I remember another day, I was around that same time, I was at my sister-in-law's house, and I told her, you know, and took my shades off, whatever, and like told her, like, you know, he had gave me a black eye. And I can remember my sister-in-law, like, when she saw my black eye, it looked horrible. Like, it looked bad. Like, I remember her saying, like, I looked deformed. Like, I didn't look like myself. I think my brother found out about it and all that kind of stuff. I can't remember, like, all that happened or whatever, but dude gave me a black eye. So I went back, you know, to school, like, wearing shades or whatever. Dude gave me a black eye. So, of course, that hurt the relationship or whatever. And, I don't know, we're, like, off and on. I can't remember, you know, everything or whatever. But I just remember like crying, like, dude had gave me a black eye. Like, I couldn't believe, you know, he had gave me a black eye. You know, I had known him for years, and I think that was the most like painful thing about it. I guess when you've been with somebody for a long time and they've never like put their hands on you. So for somebody to like do that, and you think, you know, they love you, and for them to do that to you, that's heartbreaking, you know. So then I ended up like transferring, right? I transferred, I told you I went to like 3 universities. So from Bethune-Cookman, I transferred to Tennessee State University. I was like there for like a year. And then I transferred to the school that I graduated from. And I spent like my last like 2.5 years at MTSU. So anyway, I transferred to Tennessee State, and I think Chris Brown was like going through some stuff. You know, he was back home living in Miami or whatever. And, he was going through some stuff or whatever, and we were, I guess, like trying to make things work or whatever. And, you know, because I love that person. I ain't gonna lie. Like how I felt about him, I had, you know, until like recently, and I can't even compare it to even what I experienced recently. What I experienced recently was better than I had ever felt, just like period. And that's like a whole nother topic, right? But I'm 30 and I had never felt that way ever again. Like what I felt about this person, I had never felt that like ever again until like maybe a year ago, really, when I met someone or whatever. So I was crazy about this person, okay? Crazy. Anybody who knows me and Chris Brown, they knew I was crazy about this person, right? And I can remember dude like coming to live with me. I had got my first apartment in Nashville, Tennessee, and I let dude like come live with me, right? And we ended up getting into, it didn't take long, you know what I mean? We ended up like getting into a big fight over who knows what. But dude like stumped on me, dude like spit on me, dude like hit me, left like purple and black bruises all over my body, right? And we fought all that night. I remember like a cop showing up, somebody done called the cops or whatever, and a cop showing up and me, of course, not wanting him to like get in trouble. You know what I mean? All I really wanted was for him to like go back home. I didn't want him to like get in trouble, get caught up in law stuff. I knew things that he had been through when he was young or whatever. And of course I cared about this person. So I didn't want him to go to jail. I really just wanted him to like go back home. So when the police came or whatever, of course I just like played it off. Like it was just a lot. I played it all off or whatever, and played it off. And they ended up leaving, and I had to work the next morning. You know, he had just moved up there, so he wasn't like working or anything yet. He was like trying to get in school. You know, he played football and stuff, so he was trying to like play for Tennessee State University. And I yeah, he ended up like leaving black and purple bruises all over my body. I remember that. And spit on me, kicked me, stumped on me. That was a crazy experience in my life, and I've never been in a relationship like that ever again, you know. So, you know, I'll let y'all know, you know, that never happened to me ever again. That's the last time a man put his hands on me. The next morning I had to like go to work like early in the morning. And I can remember my sister just like recently like just brought this up when I was saying, you know, I was gonna talk about domestic violence. You know, I feel like I've blocked things out, you know what I mean? So anyway, I think the next day we're at the food stamp office. I'm at the food stamp office with my sister, and I think that she was gonna drop me off to work right afterwards or whatever. And I guess they could tell, her and my sister-in-law, they could tell like something was wrong with me. You know, I didn't even talk about it. I wasn't talking about it. I just had to go to work the next day. And I guess I'm used to that. I'm used to having like crazy stuff going on with me personally and people not really knowing. And I move on, I move forward. You know, that's what I was kind of used to being in chaos and just moving on the next day. Like if nothing just happened the next day or whatever. So anyway, they knew something was wrong with me, and I finally like told them, you know, he had hit me, you know, and I guess I didn't even like go in detail. So anyway, my sister was like, you know, oh hell no, of course, you know, and they go back home, they go and tell my brother, and then my brother, my sister, my sister-in-law, my brother all go to my apartment and, you know, make him leave. We ended up like, my brother was just like, no, you gotta go. And I think he was like trying to like make it seem like that's not even what happened. Like, was like lying. Like, dude, why would I got proof all over my body. So please don't make it seem like I'm like lying about it. You know what I mean? And we ended up like sending him to a Greyhound station, you know, calling his mom and stuff. And I wasn't trying to make him go to jail or anything like that. I just wanted him to like leave or whatever and send him back home or whatever. And we ended up like dropping him off to the Greyhound station, and he kept coming back. So I don't know how he got back, but he kept coming back. I remember feeling so uncomfortable, so unsafe in my apartment, or somebody, I could just hear a sound and I was like scared. I can remember one time hearing the sound, and I just like, and I was home by myself, and I can remember like standing behind a wall and just like standing there for a long time, just standing there, like, you know, feeling scared inside my own apartment after that happened to me. After having that experience, I used to live on the first floor. So one time he comes back multiple times. So he comes back to my apartment, and I think I remember seeing him. I think I'm coming back to my apartment too, driving in a car, and I remember like seeing him in another car. So he done got a ride with somebody that he didn't even know, right? And I see him going into my gate too, you know, to get in my apartment, to get inside my apartment or whatever. Another time he came back, he jumped over my balcony. I lived on the first floor, and like jumped over my balcony and told me that like if I didn't open the door, he was gonna bust my balcony door open. He kept coming back when I was just trying to tell him to just leave, because I didn't want cops to get involved or whatever. Just leave. You know what I mean? It's over. We're not together no more. It's over. We ain't together no more. So just do me and yourself a favor and just leave, okay? He ended up like jumping up. Like, so I will never like stay on the first floor ever again in any apartment. Like where I live high, like, because I'm traumatized from that. This person kept coming back, jumping over my balcony, told me he was gonna bust my balcony door open or whatever. And so he just kept coming back or whatever. So eventually, like, I just ended up like just going to my sister's house, which he ended up like coming to my sister's house too, and like banging on the door, trying to talk to me. He sounded like he was like drunk, you know. He kept calling me, kept harassing me, and you know, finally, you know, cops did get involved and he went to jail or whatever. I had to go to like court for it. I did, you know, drop charges or whatever, but I think they ended up like keeping him in there because he had like some other stuff going on or whatever. I think somebody was like using his license in Miami, like it's like a long story or whatever. So they ended up like keeping him in jail or whatever. Dude kept calling me even when he was in jail, like kept calling me. It's 10 years later and dude still like writes me on social media. He was commenting on my YouTube channel just recently. I just reported him. It's been 10 years later and this person still like harasses me. He still like calls me and harasses me. And you know, and if I tell him like, you know, I forgive you, but I don't want to be with you, he will cuss me out. I'm everything in a book, you know, and it just shows me. You just proved my point that you have not changed. A gentleman doesn't, you know, he respects what a woman has to say. If a woman doesn't want to talk to you, then he respects that. You know what I mean? And the last time I was with you, you left purple and black bruises all over my body. So what you expect? You just expect, you know, he would tell me, you're in denial. Like, we are meant to be together. Like, I know we're meant to be together. Like, I would never talk to you ever again in my life. And dude like still harasses me till this day. Literally, I just reported him just a few days ago. This happened like 10 years ago. I dated this man 10 years ago and he still like harasses me, still like writes me. I've had to block him from every social media out there, okay? I've had to block him from everything. He was writing me through other people's pages, writing me through my sister's page. Crazy. Dude's crazy. So I'm glad that chapter of my life is over, even though I guess it still kind of haunts me even till today. When I think about it, when I was a child, I don't remember ever feeling safe. Never feeling safe. Wasn't safe at home. I wasn't safe at school. You know, I'm being bullied every day. Like I can remember like in my adult life being very like jumpy, very jumpy. And then when I Google, I told you, like research things about myself, it'll say that, you know, you might experience in your adult life being jumpy, you know, still just never feeling safe, you know. And then of course to date somebody who was like physically abusive to you, I've spent my whole life never feeling like safe, you know what I mean? So to anybody out there, I just want you to know that that's not the real world, you know. It's not love, you know. Anybody who like truly loves you would never, ever lay his hands on you. Some side effects of being in an abusive relationship is either you may repeat the cycle and continue to be in abusive relationships, or sometimes the victim becomes the villain. You know, I found myself in another relationship in the future, which is a whole other story, so we'll talk about that on another episode, but where I found myself doing things to him that Chris Brown did to me, where I found myself being like violent towards him, doing things that dude did to me. I was doing it to somebody else. You know what I mean? So I just say, if you're in an abusive relationship, sweetheart, that is not love. You deserve so much more. All men are not like that. There are men who will treat you like a queen, treat you like the queen that you are. I would say get out of that fast. You know, pay attention to red flags. Women, you need to take the time to get to know these men. Take your time before you having sex with these men, before you get in relationships with these men. I always say the only true test, the test of time. So take your time to get to know these men. Ask questions. You want to ask like what their childhood was like. You know what I mean? You want to ask these kind of questions, you know. Take your time, you know. Take your time. And if you're in a relationship like that, you know, pay attention to red flags. Don't ignore the red flags. You know, get out of that fast in a hurry. And I know it sucks because you love that person, you know, especially if you've been with a person for a long time and they never like treated you like that. So you could have been with this person for 6 years and they never hit you. And then that one time comes and they hit you. I believe that if a man does it once, he will continuously do it. And I say get out of that fast in a hurry. That's unhealthy, it's toxic, it's abnormal behavior, it's not normal. So no matter what you've seen, they want you to think that that's normal, but sweetheart, it's not. And you know, I say get help. There's a lot of programs and stuff out there. If you don't have like support or if you don't have anywhere to go, there's like programs and stuff out there. Love yourself more. Know your worth. You know, love yourself more and take the time to seek help, get therapy, and take the time to heal before you move on into another relationship or whatever, because then you'll find yourself, you know, sometimes you've been doing the same things, find yourself in the same situations, or, you know, repeating that behavior, or you become the villain. You become the villain. You know what I mean? Statistics say that normally women who end up in abusive relationships, it stems from their dads not being around when they were younger. And that just brought me back to everything that I've been talking about on my show so far. That when women do not have their dads around, they end up looking for love in all the wrong places, in all the wrong people, trying to fill that void. And it also made me think of what I've been saying as well, like, our daughters need a covering. So if the man is not there, then who's there to protect our women, to protect our daughters? And last but not least, let me just talk to parents for a second. Let me talk to future parents. Let's make sure that we are preparing our children for real life situations. Let's make sure that we're equipping them for life, getting them prepared for life. You know, I felt like there was things that I felt like my mother should have said to me. There was things that my stepdad should have said to me. Make sure we're pouring into our children. Let's make sure we're getting them ready. Let's make sure that we're sharing our life learned lessons with our children. Instead of being ashamed of the mistakes that we've made, let's make sure our children don't make the same mistakes that we made. You know, let's get their head right. It starts at home. And if you're not teaching your kids, trust me, there's somebody out there that they're going to meet along the way who's going to teach them. And, you know, we want to make sure we teach them the right thing, teaching them the right way. And that's all for today's show. Y'all make sure you follow me on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter at TyTeaV. And make sure y'all like, subscribe, and share. And make sure you talk to me. I'm getting bored. Like, comment, talk to me. I want to know your experiences. Like, this is an open thing where we can all like talk. We're growing together. We're learning together. Tell me your opinions. If it's some things that I even talk about that you don't agree on, you know, I want to know your perspectives. You know, anything that you can help me with. You know, we're growing together. We're in this together. Okay, real, raw, and uncut. Again, I'm TyTeav Nelson, and this is TyTeaV. I'll see y'all next week.